Kahadas Raghunatha Patita Pava Kahamor Bhakta Juga Kaha Kavira Kakale kotai gela Govardhan Natara Pashane kutibo mata Anale Pashibo. Thank you so much. Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Amo Koilo Bila Sheshangana Paya Kande Naro Samunda Sheshangana Paya Kande Naro Samoda. Just keep it going. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who is filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performs his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Eyanilo Premadana Karuna Prachu Prabhu Kota Kela Acharya Taku Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya 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 Prabhupāda, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. On behalf of His Holiness Asik Krishna Maharaj, welcome all the devotees today. And great to see so many familiar faces, and nice to be in a brand new temple room conceived of by Asik Krishna Maharaj and executed in lightning fast time so that we could all be here for Kartik and for Prabhupada's Tirabhav. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for always expanding the quality of the ashram. So we have until noon to invite those who would like to speak today. And today, as everyone knows, is the Tirobhava, which means the time at which the Acharya disappears from our sight. It's not a time for sadness, but it's a time for being solemn and considering the gifts that he's given us and how we're utilizing them. So we celebrate this day by remembering and encouraging one another to take full advantage of what Śrīla Prabhupāda has left behind for us. And I'm not going to follow a chronological way of inviting devotees up, although I'll make sure that all the senior devotees, Prabhupada disciples who want to speak, will have an opportunity, and then if others would like to say something, please, I'll send someone around to take your name and we'll work you in. So first of all, are you up for going first? Yeah. We'd like to welcome His Holiness Sachinandan Swami, and Maharaj, if you'd please speak to us first. Swagatam Suswagatam. Hare Krishna. Is there another mic? I'm sorry.
You need a chair?
Is there another? I'm going to sit in a chair, and if there's another mic, so.
Yes.
Here's good. This is good. Thank you. Okay. Put that in there. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Namaste Saraswati Shunyavadi Askatya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Premanandi Hari. Dear Śrīla Prabhupāda and respected Vaisheshika Prabhu, who is always giving great joy to my heart when I see him, great joy. Our Asim Krishna Maharaj also, great joy is coming. And all of you, this is a sad day. Oh no, it is the day which we as Śrīla Prabhupāda's disciples thought would never ever come. And like all of you who have taken to discipleship, the sad day will come, or has come perhaps, to you also. And you will have to learn, like we have to learn, or had to learn, how to make this into a very meaningful day. I think our Vaisheshika Prabhu used the word somber. Did I hear that right?
Solemn.
Solemn. What means solemn? Solemn is sacred or serious?
Yeah.
Serious, yes. We become very serious. I want to talk today about the inspection by Śrīla Prabhupāda. An inspection is when a superior authority comes and inspects you. He sees, what are you doing at this moment? What is your consciousness at this moment? I had such an inspection of Śrīla Prabhupāda. In 1974, Śrīla Prabhupāda visited the castle, as it was known, the big mandir in central Germany. What was going on in the room? Inspection. He was in the kitchen and inspected. It was required, so to say, to do this, to have this mental focus required to translate from one language into another language. You really have to be there. And as I was sleeping under the table, I heard the high voice of our authority at that time, Hansadutta. He went, Prabhupada, this is the BBT, the German BBT. And then catch me sleeping under the... Here is... I don't know where, because I was so bewildered or confused or panicked. Here is this action done of the translation. It's the first draft, the first translation. Here is the first edit of the first draft. And I know now the next person in line would be my department in the translation. And here is, and the table was not occupied. Here's this part of the translation. Check, So, I was wide awake, but I was fighting, should I stay sleeping under the table? Prabhupada will for sure see me not sleeping, lying under the table. I was not sleeping any longer. Or should I come up? You must know we had flat tables like this. So I was there. And I thought, the choice is between being real or being a pretender. I could pretend to be sleeping, but I always liked this great kindness, this great humanness, this willingness to give up quick judgment. And that was very, very endearing. What would Prabhupada see if he would now come in my life? I'm no longer in the translation department. would he be satisfied? Would he be pleased, perhaps? That's the better word. I would like to give this question to all of us. What would he see when he would come into Śrīla Prabhupāda? Like I was hiding my, I didn't want to be caught sleeping, and I had to battle with that. How transparent are you when Prabhupada comes? On one level, he has gone, but on another level, he's always watching us. How would you stand up in this inspection of Prabhupada? He would certainly want to know how you're doing. During that time, we had questions in our translation department, questions which only Śrīla Prabhupāda could answer. It was how to find different, to find just the right expression to capture the intended meaning of the author in that language, in the new language. Our questions became really a lot, and the main question was, Prabhupada, can we sometimes change your expression of a point without changing the subject or the content? And we wrote that question. We didn't ask it at that time, and the answer came back, don't change anything in my purpose. They are my personal ecstasies. So we had our answers, and our answer to the main question, there were many other questions, is for the month of Kartik, having a vow to read that many hours a day, Prabhupada's book. That's still going on, like wonderful, wonderful. And to share, supply me with some water. The voice is a little. Good. My dear devotees, this comes in the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, and I know from giving so many lectures in our temple. Madrik Papana Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Buddhi Karunaya Namo Layaya Svangshena Sava, such as I, has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated. Lord is free. Certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful. In a verse, Gajendra is attacked. His life is in absolute danger. It will be, it's at stake. It's the ultimate fight which he cannot win against death. And he turns to the Lord and says, you will certainly deliver me because you are extremely merciful. So Srila, it's a beautiful purport, but it's long, and I will just come to the point here. Prabhupada yasyatma buddhi gunapreti duke, and so on. A human being who identifies the body made of 3 elements as the self, and so on and so forth. Anyways, I read the whole thing. So a human being who identifies the body, I'm a sannyasi, I'm a guru. No. Made of three elements of the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, my disciples, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, Germany over everything, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge. No, I'm for myself. I will take a bath here in the Jamunaji, but to meet men of transcendental knowledge is dangerous. Then to meet men of transcendental knowledge there is to be considered like a cow or an ass. So one can relate Prabhupada's purpose to himself. Not difficult. Practically everyone. Are you with me?
Yes.
What is Prabhupada saying? We are in a, no one dares to speak now, but I hope we are in a dangerous position in the material world. We are suffering and we do require help. Now he continues, and it gets very hopeful. Only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. Indeed, he's always trying to deliver us. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshu juna tishtati. He is within our hearts and is not at all inattentive. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He's never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse says, Buri Karunaya, repeat please. Buri Karunaya, that was the rehearsal. Now, Buri Karunaya Namolayaya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated and he tries to make us liberated. But although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. In brackets, Savadamang Parijajja Mangikam Sharanam Raja. The Lord is constantly trying, but we refuse to accept his instructions. How much have we heard from the scriptures? How many signs have we gotten by the mercy of the Lord? How often someone has said something which shook us up, but we refuse to accept his instructions. Nonetheless, for those who don't speak English so well, despite all of this, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Buri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. Would you like to know where you can find this amazing purport?
Yes.
Good. Would you make a note of it in your mobile telephone? Because you will forget it if I tell it to you. No or yes?
Yes.
Good. Oh, I can't read it here. It's in the 8th canto, that's for sure. Here, it's up here. 8th canto, chapter 3, verse 17. In this verse, my dear devotees, we find the quality of God and we find the quality of a dear servant of the Lord. We find the quality of Śrīla Prabhupāda. They are here only for one purpose, to deliver us from material existence. And although they might see that we are not always able to follow all the instructions of Śrīla Prabhupāda, they don't give up on us and become angry on us, like perhaps a person takes him somewhere else and then you didn't follow my instruction, and then one might become angry at the Toto driver, this e-rickshaw driver. No, we may sometimes go in another direction than the intended one. But Prabhupada will never give up on us. That does not mean that we should be neglectful. It is we should be very, very attentive. I want to now tell you my favorite Prabhupada Leela. Śrīla Prabhupada was walking Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupada was not walking, was going through the temple with one devotee. It's we talk about the inspection of the pure devotee. And he was pointing into the corner and my dear devotees, look into your life. What do you see in the corners of your life? Do you see some dust? Thought-provoking thing. We should look at what we see. We should do something about it. This is what sincere following means. And on a thought-provoking note, it's another thought-provoking note. I once had a dream of Prabhupada. It was when he had left already. We were on a morning walk. From the situation, the buildings, I could understand it was in the west. It was on a beach. And we were walking. And I was amongst his disciples. We disciples would ask him questions during the morning walk. And sometimes Prabhupada would answer these questions. At other times he would be in his own mood, he would chant, he would think, but mostly he would answer the questions. It was a time for very personal questions, perhaps questions which we were not comfortable to ask in a less personal or private setting. So we were walking, and I closed up and said to Prabhupada with as much sincerity I could muster, Prabhupada, how was it for you? Was it sometimes difficult for you to follow all the instructions of your spiritual master? I think you understand this question, no? There's so many instructions. And it is sometimes difficult. So I was asking, how did you deal with the difficult instructions? And Prabhupada, this is a dream, took his cane and he just planted it firmly in the ground. He looked at me with very direct eyes, and he said, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciple. He looked at me if I had understood, and then he took his cane and he continued walking. My dear devotees, we are fallen souls. Our mind is material, our body is material. But there is so life and soul. These are the compassion the great souls take upon us, which become our life and our soul in this dead body, a dead mind, or materially active body, a materially active mind, you could also say. These instructions come like light into the darkness, and they show us our way. Not long ago, in America, I met another Prabhupada disciple who told me of something that is going on in the older disciples, that are discussions amongst us. These voices become louder as our movement becomes more and more successful. These are concerned voices. So he took the concern, which is in many of the older disciples, to Prabhupada, and he asked, Prabhupada, there are now so many opinions in our movement. They are sometimes even made public on the internet, you know. There is so much quarrel. There is so much unease to be with each other. And the difficult thing is, everyone says, Prabhupada said. What do you think about this? This is in a dream, my dear devotees. Dreams speak according to our sincerity and our spiritual maturity. The spiritual master can appear in a dream, but they always speak in a language, the dreams speak in a language that you need to think about the language. In this dream, Prabhupada said something which I personally feel, it was not my dream, is so true. He smiled. It's natural that there will be disagreement. We are human beings. We are wired differently. But Prabhupada smiled and says, only when there is love can they understand my instructions. My dear devotees, in the Gita is a similar instruction by Lord Krishna. I will turn to Vaisheshika Prabhu, who knows everything always. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Can I please help? Yaman yashasmi tatvata. Tatomam tatvato jnanam vishate tat anantaram. Only by bhakti, devotion, can someone enter the secret of understanding me. This Krishna says. My dear devotees, on Prabhupada's appearance day, disappearance day, where we asked ourselves these questions, how much bhakti is in your heart? How much do you do the things out of devotion for the Lord? What could you do to increase the bhakti to Guru Bhakti, to Prabhupada, and to Krishna? With these thoughts, I leave you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Sachinandan Maharaj, for getting us ready for the inspection and doing it regularly. And we're deeply touched by your realizations and also by your presence here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Maharaj gave what is the keynote for today, and we'd like to call on His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami next. And for all those who will speak, keep in mind we have until 12 o'clock today. So after the keynote, if you're thinking of a longer version and a shorter version, the shorter version will allow a few more devotees to go. Maharaj, Swagatam Suswagatam. Could everyone on this side please move up by 7.2 inches? If you see space in front of you and it's 7 inches, take it. 7.2, take that. It'll make room for more devotees to fit in the back. And there's a busload of devotees coming too, so they'll need somewhere to sit. Thank you.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminete Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunnavade Paschadya Satarine. So when Prabhupada was on the planet, so his fortunate disciples, they all have seen Prabhupada. That we have not seen Prabhupada. But by now, by hearing from them, those that have seen Prabhupada, we can see Prabhupada. But sometime, they all will be gone also. Then how will see Prabhupada? How we can see Prabhupada? We'll see Prabhupada through his books, through his writings, through his teachings. So Prabhupada is living through his teachings. And when we read Prabhupada books more and more, we can realize there is no end. That one day we can understand everything what Prabhupada has written. Because more we read Prabhupada's books, we find wonderful things in his writings. And we see what wonders Prabhupada has done. Prabhupada has said, I am one Indian, I brought so much change. If every Indians will be like me, then how much time it will take to bring change on this planet? You see, we Indians are very proud of Vivekananda. Many of you might not have heard his name, but all Indians they know. There is no Indian who has not heard Vivekananda. He is famous for going to the West. And they think he is the one who brought Vedic knowledge to the West. But in fact, in reality, we see Vivekananda, after doing all whatever he has done, he brought only one lady from Western country. You know her name? Anybody knows? Sister Nivedita, she's very famous. Nivedita means you are fully offered yourself. I don't know how much she had offered herself to God, but her name was Nivedita. So I tell to all Indians to understand Prabhupada, Vriksha phale parichayate. The tree is understood through the fruits. If Indians can become so proud of Vivekananda for bringing one lady from America, then how much proud we should be. Prabhupada had thousands of Niveditas. Western guys, all is white. It is thousands of Niveditas. Indians should look at this. No? But one mistake, so-called mistake Prabhupada has done, that he is not so famous among Indians, that he has not announced himself as God. Modern days, it is a mistake. If Prabhupada would say, I am God, all Indians would be behind him. But Prabhupada said, I am not God. And he taught to his followers, make sure you don't announce me as God. So much so, when we are celebrating Prabhupada's centennial year celebration, because we are so much festivals, taking Prabhupada's chariot, this, that. So our authorities, they made us to be careful, don't do so much that people will think Prabhupada is God. Sometimes we have to announce, because we take Prabhupada on chariot, all these things, people are prone to accept somebody as a God. No? Big challenge. But Prabhupada has done a great thing, that unique thing in modern age, by establishing the truth, the reality, by stopping the people from this misleading practice or way of accepting anybody as God. But one thing, Prabhupada did not promote himself. You see, all other mission, Ramakrishna mission, this mission, Sai Baba mission, everybody I have observed in their institution, when we go to that program, you will see only they are known. But whom they are worshipping, nobody knows. No? For Sai Baba or your art of living, who are they worshipping? Where are they taking us? Nobody knows, only their pictures. But Prabhupada is so humble, that the whole world knows Krishna, but nobody knows Prabhupada. Isn't it? When you go to America, if we walk on the street or on the airport, people, they see us, oh, Hare Krishna is going. Right? Or sarcastically or with love, whatever it is. Prabhupada made everybody's mouth to bring Hare Krishna. Krishna is well known. But Prabhupada is not known to people. Prabhupada is not known to people. But one thing, special for Indians, once they understand Prabhupada, the Krishna's glories will be spread 100 times better. 100 times better. If they understand Śrīla Prabhupāda, his contribution, his teachings, that only the teachings can save this material world. And Prabhupada's appearance is not accidental, very pre-planned. Such a personality will come, very much pre-planned. 5,000 years ago, when all the Lord Krishna will disappear, leave the planet, all rivers came, personification. You are living planet, will go, otherwise the Kali Yuga coming, people will come, take bath in our water. It is too much sin, we can't take it. That time Krishna predicted. Don't be worried, wait for 5,000 years. Time will come, from all over the world, devotees will come and take bath in your water. You can spend happily time with them. You ask anybody, who is that personality who translated this prediction to reality? Even if those people, they don't like us, they're against us, they will be forced to say, Only Śrīla Prabhupāda did this. 5,000 years ago. Bhakti Devi told to Narada Muni, I'll leave Vrindavan, go to Western countries. Bhakti Devi resides in devotee's heart. Prabhupada carried Bhakti Devi to the Western countries. 500 years ago, Mahaprabhu predicted, Prithivati Asyoda Nagaradigram. If I ask people, please tell, who did this? They will not say Vivekananda, they will not say Sai Baba, they will not say anything. They have to say, they're bound, they're forced, willingly or unwillingly. That is Prabhupada did. 250 years ago, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he said the same thing. When that day will come, people from Russia, Pursia means France. Russia will come, they'll embrace each other, chant Jai Satyanandana, Jai Satyanandana. Who did these things? You have to answer. Śrīla Prabhupāda did. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada came. He also made big plan for Navadvip Parikrama. Buying big property. The whole world devotees will come and do Parikrama. Who did that? Śrīla Prabhupāda did. So Prabhupada, what Prabhupada has done, nobody will do. But one thing I always meditate, something Prabhupada has done that nobody will do, in my understanding is, many people will come after Prabhupada, they will go to Western countries, they will give big lectures, more tattvas, more rasas, more elaborate Goswami, nice things. But what Prabhupada has done that nobody will do, that is, Prabhupada has taught the Western people how to wear swari, dhoti, how to take a bath. The present preachers, they will go. They don't have to preach these things. They can go, they can speak Radha Krishna Rasas, this, that, but they will not do what Prabhupada has done to the Western world. What Prabhupada has done to Western people. So, that is Acharya. It's Acharya. He has done how to take a bath, how to clean. All kinds of things that Prabhupada has done. Nobody, nor preachers, we are not going through that, what Prabhupada has done. We are going like Prince, We are not going through the trouble Prabhupada has gone through. I have heard, initial days, they would stay in a room putting saris, partition, one side brahmachari, one side brahmacharini, right? And Prabhupada would stand in the line to go to the bathroom. So much scarcity. And the devotee will stand in line and Prabhupada will go and stand in line also. Can you imagine something like this? We great preachers will never imagine. And I heard once Mukunda Maharaj, somebody was driving Prabhupada. She was driving, Prabhupada was sitting, Prabhupada bite one apple. Then he gave it to Mukunda Maharaj. Then he gave one bite and gave it to Prabhupada to take. This is what he dealt. Any other preacher will have to deal like this. So that's why nobody can compete with Prabhupada. Nobody can become equal to Prabhupada. What he has done, what has given to us. Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki, Śrī Bhaktivedanta ki, Gaur Pramananda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, for giving us this unique view of Prabhupada and his greatness. It's very stirring. And now we invite Urmila Devi to please come up and give her offering. For everyone who comes up to speak, if you have a short, medium, and long version, trending towards the short one will allow more variety. We'll invite more devotees. Swagatam Suswagatam.
It was a date, not an apple. Date. Not an apple, date. Date. No doubt, date. I heard directly from Mukunda Maharaj. There's a date. And that he didn't know what to do. Prabhupada took a bite and gave to him, and he was completely confused. What do I do? And he thought, well, I guess this is an Indian custom that you take a bite and give to someone. So then he thought, I guess I have to reciprocate. No, it's just I heard from Marg in Australia, he was telling this story. And Prabhupada was looking at, what are you giving this back to me? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskachade Shatarane. So I thought I'd read something from Bhagavatam 1:13-10. Bhavad vidha bhagavatas tirta bhuta swayam vibho tirti kurvanti tirtani swantastena kada bhuta. This is spoken about Vidura. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Śrīla Prabhupāda's purport. The personality of Godhead is omnipresent by his diverse potencies everywhere, just as the power of electricity is distributed everywhere within space. Similarly, the Lord's omnipresence is perceived and manifested by his unalloyed devotees like Vidura, just as electricity is manifested in an electric bulb. A pure devotee like Vidura always feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. He sees everything in the potency of the Lord and the Lord in everything. The holy places all over the earth are meant for purifying the polluted consciousness of the human being by an atmosphere surcharged with the presence of the Lord's unalloyed devotees. If anyone visits a holy place, he must search out the pure devotees residing in such holy places, take lessons from them, try to apply such instructions in practical life, and thus gradually prepare oneself for the ultimate salvation going back to Godhead. So I'm not going to read the whole purport. There's some difference between a dham and a tirtha. So a dham is eternal. Vrindavan Dham is always Vrindavan Dham, even after the destruction of the world. But a tirtha is a little different. A tirtha literally means a place where a river becomes narrow. In English, we call this a ford, which is where like the word Oxford comes from. So it's where a river becomes narrow, or we call it a strait also, which is where the word Detroit comes from. It's where you can easily cross the river. So a tirtha is a place where you can easily cross from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. And the pure devotee is a walking tirtha. So the analogy that I always give, it's just like we all have these devices, and with this device we can contact people on different parts of the planet. Yesterday I was talking with two devotees in two completely different parts of the planet. It's a connection, yes? And the signals are everywhere, but you have to have the right device to capture the connection. Like Prabhupada's saying, electricity is everywhere, but the bulb captures it. But even more, the internet signals everywhere. Yes? And then also, not only that, but you can make your phone a hotspot for someone else, correct? Yes. So Śrīla Prabhupada's like this. He's a walking hotspot. Connection to Goloka Vrindavan. I really appreciated, Bhakti Purushottam Swami, what you said about Prabhupada not advertising himself or putting himself in the center. I I feel it's very important that we remember that Prabhupada's not only the founder, but also the Acharya. He wasn't just the founder so many years ago. He's presently the Acharya. And as Satchidananda Maharaj said, he's presently inspecting. But Śrīla Prabhupada did not put himself at the center of ISKCON. He put Krishna at the center. He was a walking hotspot for Krishna. Wherever he went, you could find Krishna through him. He used this word transparent via media. And then he says, but the experience is direct. So I had two personal experiences like this with Śrīla Prabhupada. So one was in 1975. Śrīla Prabhupada was leaving New York to go to London. And I don't know why there were so few of us in the airport. When Prabhupada came, there were maybe 300 of us to greet him, but when Śrīla Prabhupada left, and you know I was there greeting Prabhupada because there's a crying baby there. That was my crying baby. So my evidence that I was actually there. But when Prabhupada left, maybe there were 15 of us. Again, I don't know why hardly anybody was there. So the devotees went in several cars, and in one car they brought big plastic trash bags full of flower petals. You understand, like those great big bags, 2 of them. Now, to understand this story, you have to understand that in 1975, you could smoke cigarettes anywhere. There was no prohibition, and so people were smoking in the airport, and after they smoke, they throw the little cigarette butt on the ground. Correct? Yes? All right. Also need to understand there was no security in the airports in those days. So anybody could go into the airport up to the gate. It was like a train station. You could even go onto the plane when you were not a passenger, like you can do today on a train. You can help somebody with their luggage and then get off. So you could do like that. So you have to understand those 2 things. So devotees came to the airport, and I was not in the car with the flower petals, but they got there first, and they made a walkway of flower petals from the door of the airport to the lounge, the VIP lounge. And so Prabhupada was walking on the flower petal path, and the VIP lounge was under construction. So we were the only ones there. There was one sofa that Prabhupada was sitting on, and I was to his left. I was like the distance between me and the wall. I was sitting there, and my baby was like 4 or 5 months, so he was in my lap. And so Prabhupada's sitting there, 15, not more than 20 devotees were there, and Shilavati was there, Kirtanananda, I was there, it was Satyabhama, Paramananda, many devotees that joined very, very early that Prabhupada knew very intimately. And Śrīla Prabhupada's asking them, she's asking Shilavati, how are your sons? He asked Kirtananda, how is Hayagriva? And I was sitting there a little jealous that I wish that I had that kind of intimacy with Śrīla Prabhupada. So they had brought the deity's silver trays, 2 silver trays, big heavy trays like this long, this wide, great big trays. And they must have done this at the airport. They couldn't have brought this in a car. So one tray was piled with a pyramid of fruit, like cut pieces of fruit piled up high. And they brought it in front of Śrīla Prabhupada, and there was a watermelon on the top. He took the watermelon, and then he said, distribute. And everybody wanted the watermelon, you know. And then they had another tray, same size, with milk sweets, burfi, sandesh, pera, same thing, pyramid. And Prabhupada didn't take any. He just said, distribute, and nobody wanted that, So meanwhile, our GBC Rupanuga, he's in the back of the room, obviously having a very emotional, we would say heated discussion with some airport manager. And Śrīla Prabhupada says, what is this? And they say, oh, Prabhupada, they want us to clean up the flower petals. So in 1975, we didn't have an ISKCON communication department. We really didn't care what the hogs, dogs, camels, and asses thought about our movement. Hare Krishna. So I don't think we cleaned up the flower petals. I really don't think so. But they were arguing, and one of the devotees, I think it was Jayadvaita, he said, oh, Prabhupada, they don't complain about the cigarette butts, just the flower petals. And Prabhupada was laughing. And he was saying how his godbrothers had gone to Burma, which is now Myanmar, and that they were, in Burma, the residents there would drink liquid dog. So they would take a dead dog and they would put it in some container and bury it until the body liquefied. And then they would drink this, and the smell was abominable. But the devotees were cooking in ghee, and the local people, they thought this ghee smell was horrible. So Prabhupada said, this is like they tolerate the cigarettes and not the flowers. And then one devotee said, Śrīla Prabhupada, can we have kirtan? No, Prabhupada said, let us have kirtan. And one devotee said, oh, Prabhupada, that will be worse than flower petals. And Prabhupada said, we will do kirtan quietly. So this devotee, Jai Sachinandana, he was leading the kirtan, and Prabhupada was playing the kartels, and he was playing on the side, very quietly. And Jai Sachinandana sang the Guru Vastika, Samsaradava, and then the Guru Vandana, Shri Guru Charana Padma. So he was singing that. And at this, I had been in the movement maybe like 2 years at this point. And I'm sitting right next to Śrīla Prabhupada, and I'm watching Prabhupada also chanting. Jai Sachinandan's leading, Prabhupada's responding. And when we would sing these prayers, we're singing them meditating on Śrīla Prabhupada. So at first I was like, Prabhupada's singing these prayers. I'm like, oh, he's singing for Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It was just this very sweet thing. So as I'm sitting next to Prabhupada as he's chanting, the airport went away, and New York went away, and the lounge went away, and time went away, and I don't, if I think about it logically, it was probably 20 or 30 minutes of time, but my experience was that I was in Vaikuntha, that Prabhupada had acted as a tirtha, and that through him, I was making a connection to Krishna. And it was an absolutely astonishing experience. I really don't have any way to actually describe it. But I will finish the story anyway. So that went on it was timeless. I don't know how long that went on. And then at some point, it stopped. And I became again aware that I'm in the lounge at the airport in New York, and I'm holding a baby, and I haven't changed my baby's diaper or nappy, whatever you call them in different parts of the world. And I thought, if I don't change it soon, it may leak through the clothes, and I thought I should do this. Prabhupada's going to go to the gate. So I removed my focus from the kirtan. I was still chanting with my mouth, you understand? You know how we do that, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, but my focus was on, and I got the bag, and I'm working with him and changing his diaper. So again, I'm right next to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was playing the kartels, and he had his head down with his eyes closed. And as I'm doing this, so Prabhupada's like this, and he does this. Very slowly, like a slow motion film or something, and then he's just staring at me. For like 5 minutes, Prabhupada's just staring at me, and I'm in the middle of this changing thing, and I'm like, what did I do? You know, maybe I felt like later reading, you know, the mother-in-law in the pot in the kirtan, and Mahaprabhu says there's no ecstasy in the kirtan. I felt maybe I ruined Prabhupada's ecstasy. And of course, I had to finish what I was doing. Of course, many years later, I reflected that I have no idea what Prabhupada was thinking. You know, I was assuming he was displeased with me, but I really just have no idea. But he was just 5 minutes just staring at me. And then he just got up and started walking toward the gate. Thank God by then I was finished. And so we were all going to the gate, and Prabhupada's in the line to get on the plane. And Satyabhama's son was 3 years old. And he goes into the line, into the queue, and he grabs Prabhupada's hand. And the airplane worker tries to take him away. And Prabhupada says, no, he is passenger. But then his mother, Satyabhama, she got him. And later she said to me, I don't know, should I have let him go? She said he had no ticket, no passport. He's 3 years old. You know? So that's my first story about my own experience with Śrīla Prabhupada acting as this tirtha for Krishna. My second experience was in 1976. The last time Śrīla Prabhupada came to America, he came to New York for the Rath Yatra. This was, of course, Jayananda had arranged the Rath Yatra, and we had that amazing building on 55th Street. Were you ever in that building? Were you there in 76? So you were there when Prabhupada was there for the 10 days? Yeah. So we had a nice personal interchange with Prabhupada. We got to meet him in his darshan room. And that was where I was holding my son, who was now 1.5, on my lap. And my father, actually Prabhupada first said, just like this mother is loving this child without expectation of return, in the same way you should love Krishna. And my father said, will loving her son help her to love Krishna? And Prabhupada said, no, but loving Krishna will help her to love her son. So that's been a very important understanding for me, that if we try to love jivas directly, it doesn't work very well. We have all had this experience. Everyone has had this experience. We try to love a jiva directly. It's disappointing to one extent or another, or frustrating. But if I love a jiva because I love Krishna, then that is very satisfying. If it's an expression of my love for Krishna, if I love a jiva to please Krishna, as my service to Krishna, then the disappointments are not relevant. But anyway, during that time, the devotees used to perform the Ramayana, and unfortunately these devotees have left us. Loitaksha was playing Ram, and his wife Rasagya was playing Sita. Lokamangala was playing Ravana. One devotee who is still here, Devadeva, played both Hanuman and Jatayu. So I was sitting 2 rows behind Śrīla Prabhupada, like as far from you, maybe close, maybe far from you, just very close, just 2 rows. And it was the scene where Ravana he's kidnapped Sita already. He's already taken Sita, and he's being stopped by, who stops him? Jatayu. Of course, on stage we didn't have a chariot. So Jatayu comes, and Sita says, no, you are too old, and Ravana is stronger than you. And somehow, when Rasagya playing Sita said those words in Prabhupada's presence, again, everything disappeared for me. I wasn't in the theater of the 55th Street Temple. The time and place disappeared, and I was actually in the Dandaka forest, seeing this pastime unfold. Now, this didn't last as long as in the airport. I don't know how long it lasted, but it wasn't as long. But it was, I was there in the Leela. And when I came back to being in the theater, again I understood Śrīla Prabhupada is a tirtha. Śrīla Prabhupada once talked about, and I heard this first actually from you, Sachinanda Maharaj, a lecture he gave in Geneva, where he talks about how we should chant Hare Krishna. And he talks about when we chant Hare Krishna, we should be meditating, for example, on like bathing Krishna with Ganga and Jamuna water and dressing him and ornamenting. He says chanting Hare Krishna means this meditation. And then he says if you chant like this, then you will become a tirtha. It was a class Prabhupada gave on this verse from the first canto. So Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj was saying Prabhupada's glory, unlike Vivekananda, is he brought thousands of people. But let us all become tirthas. It's not just Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada's not glorified by our just saying, well, Śrīla Prabhupada is a walking tirtha. And I was really meditating the other day. I read a lot of books on teaching. And one I was just reading was about the principle of expectation. Something I'm very familiar with, but somehow the examples, like new examples, that if a man goes in the military and he says, okay, I've flagged these people, they're most likely to be a success. Even though those people were chosen at random, those people became successes because the military trainers expected them to be a success. If teachers are told these students are gifted, even if there's nothing special about those students, they will excel all the other students because of those expectations. And I was thinking something strange has happened in our Hare Krishna movement, where it seems none of us expect to become Krishna conscious anymore. I generally hear this. Oh, you know, that's so high. And it's good to remember that Krishna consciousness is so high. You told me years ago, always remain a beginner. But Prabhupada expected us all to become Krishna conscious in this life. He did. All the time. Just this morning, every morning I try to listen to a lecture. He was saying, in one moment you can become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada had this kind of high expectation. Yes, he told us it was very high. Yes, he told us not to be a premature cheater. But he also expected that we were all going to become walking tirthas. That everywhere we go, we could manifest the spiritual world. And that's our real glorification of Prabhupada. Keep ourselves out of the center, keep Krishna as the center, and that people should see Krishna through us. As soon as they meet us, as soon as they interact with us, they should know there is a God, that we're the medium. The first time we met Prabhupada in 1974, after our conversation, we walked out of the room and my father said, now I know why you've joined. This is a genuine holy man. Well, this is what should be said about us. And we can say, at least I can say, I feel it is impossible. But then Prabhupada would say, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Durgata gata navigate. Krishna, Srila Rupa Goswami says, you make the impossible possible. And as I always, what I'll end with, what I always like to say on these days, when Prabhupada gave me the Gayatri mantras and my father became a life member and we were offering Prabhupada obeisances, Prabhupada said, good father, good daughter. So I had biologically, materially a very good father, but Śrīla Prabhupada is actually my father. And he's a very good father. I have yet to become a good daughter. I still have some dusty corners. I still sometimes sleep under the table. So I'd like to ask all of you to please bless me that I can actually become a good daughter. Thank you. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Urmila Devi, for expanding and defining the metaphor and the word tirtha for us, making it so accessible and inspiring. Amazing. And now it's a great honor to request His Holiness the Sikh Krishna Maharaj to please come give a talk, and please give him a rousing welcome to his own temple. Haribo! Balo, balo! Jai, jai! Sadhu, sadhu! Swagatam, suswagatam. For those of you who weren't here, earlier I had mentioned that previously this beautiful fortress that we live in here as an ashram, it had a very tiny temple room. Only about 15 people could fit, and only 3 people could see the deities at any given time. And Maharaj manifested this amazing temple within 1 year. That's impossible in India. He did the impossible. And now everyone can fit. We used to sit downstairs in the hallway in the prasadam room for this program. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for having us and for making the facility so comfortable and inviting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I want actually to hear all of you. I am not qualified to sit here. This is all actually Prabhupada mercy, all the devotees' mercies. When we came here, this place, actually Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Giriraj Maharaj, he brought this place, and we knows how Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually, and that days actually how they love so much Prabhupada. And according like Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, because we didn't see Prabhupada, but they are with Prabhupada. And this is the pure sadhu who is from Vaikuntha, from Golok Vrindavan, and how he is so dear to everyone and everyone so dear to him. Although Prabhupada, no one knows, now slowly people knows the Prabhupada. But the time goes, they say old is gold. So we can feel it is not, Prabhupada will not famous. Like Puranas, Itihas, the Vedas, as much as they old, they can become more famous. So this way Prabhupada will become more famous. The time will come, the people will need Prabhupada. Because without Prabhupada mercies, it is very difficult to overcome this material world. His words, we can feel
Because Acharyavan Purusha Vedaha. Actually, he is the Acharya who demonstrated himself, and what he did we can see his presence. And according to Mataji's, actually it is Prabhupada access the connection. If someone not, and Prabhupada is so merciful, we can see how all world the people knows about Krishna. That is the Acharya. Acharya is not who is self-centered. All people, many Acharya, they so-called Acharya, they came, they went to West, then they are still present here. All are self-centered. But the Prabhupada, how he did, we should remember always Prabhupada. And world should we remember. And how this is the Acharya's work. Misfortunate people become fortunate, good fortunate. In Hindi says Bhagya Vidhata. Who is the Bhagya Vidhata? Bhagya means the fortune. Many misfortune people, they become fortunate. That is the Acharya's power. So, as long as the earth remain, so Prabhupada glory will be remain. And actually, I was going to say how Prabhupada was not, how he is so merciful. And when we, last time also we mentioned this, when Tamal Krishna Maharaj got this place, and he, initial his plan was put Prabhupada here. And I don't know anything, and he didn't disclose this. And after renovation, I put Krishna Balaram here. And Maharaj don't know. And Maharaj, he brought me, okay, we'll see the deities. When he expected, the Prabhupada will be here. And when he saw Krishna Balaram here, he was little angry. But immediately he cooled down his anger, and he says, Prabhupada never put himself in center. He always give the credit to Krishna. So he says, where Prabhupada will be? And this is the doorway, you see. And he was sitting up. Maharaj says, okay, we can put Prabhupada there. But I was not satisfied, because Prabhupada is such a great Acharya, and Maharaj, because that is the plan when he was Vrindavan, and last moment when his desire was come to Vrindavan, come to Govardhan, do the Parikrama. All the disciples wants to take, and they already arranged the Mulakat. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, they said, no, Prabhupada, you are so ill now, we don't want to take, something will happen. When you little recover, when you feeling good, then we can take you. And after 3 days, Prabhupada left. So, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he has that desire, how we will get some land here and we will establish Prabhupada here. Again, Prabhupada also don't, and again also Prabhupada sitting was there, he was sitting there. So I was thinking what, so then it's his Prabhupada inspiration says, oh, no, we'll sit, Prabhupada can sit here and Krishna Balaram can move that sides. So, and when we start this project, it was unbelievable. It is very difficult to, like 8 months, 9 months to complete. But this is all Prabhupada's mercies. How, and all Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada's mercy means Krishna's mercies. Because like Mataji says, these are tirthas. If you have devotion, you can give the devotion. So Prabhupada wants to become Krishna consciousness. I was hearing today, one become Krishna consciousness in 1 minute. Why will not become Krishna consciousness? And if he will become Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada will be happy. Krishna will be happy. So, thank you. There is many things to say. So, how Prabhupada contribute to this world? No one knows. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought this holy name. But actually, we know, the world knows the holy name. When Prabhupada went west and he preached the holy name. And that is how he so sankalpana, he was so pointed to how everyone should, like all Prithivita ache nagaradigram sarvatra prachara hai mumur naam. So how Prabhupada did, he never emphasized anything, Mahamantra. So when Jayadatta Maharaj come, if you chant anything, he was, stop! Chant Hare Krishna. So that is how, because they are the man, because they understand what Prabhupada wants. This is the Prabhupada moods, and they knows, the Prabhupada disciple, they knows this, what is the Prabhupada mood. So we should learn what is the Prabhupada mood, and also it is in his books, and we can see the result. Hare Krishna. Whoever see us, Hare Krishna Baba, Hare Krishna people. So this is the credit go to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada will be happy. And if you do, and Prabhupada brought that pure devotions. When I was college in India, there is so many people hachpach. Who is the God? When first I heard who is the Bhagavan, and that is the first lecture I heard in Prabhupada lecture, who is the Bhagavan? Bhaga plus Ban, who has the 6 opulence. And so, and the word, the Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the Acharya. You see how he is unique, the word, the sounds, and the Siddhanta that he made. So we are so fortunate, because Prabhupada make us fortunate. Because people are misfortunate. So Prabhupada made them fortunate. If we carry these Prabhupada's orders, so all of you, we can become fortunate. Not all of you, 100,000 souls, they will become fortunate. So that is Prabhupada's mercy. How? When Acharya comes, and when the dear devotees of Krishna comes, this is the symptoms, and this is their work, this is their service. How they so magnanimous, how they are so merciful. We can actually, Prabhupada Kripa Karaha Vichara Karile Chite Pave Chamatkar. It's the Mahaprabhu Kripas, but Prabhupada Kripas, they actually, yes, while maybe now they does not recognize, but later will come, like old will become gold, old is gold, no? It will go, time will goes, but they will recognize, the time will, the world will, one day world will recognize. And whatever Prabhupada gave, the contribution to the societies, he established Krishna. And that is the, that's why he gave them name of movement, Krishna consciousness movement. So Krishna consciousness is the character of the soul. That is the life of the soul, soul's life of soul. So that Prabhupada's, and if you go through his purport, go through his activities, you can see how tremendously, it is not it is not by chance someone come and he did. No, purposely Krishna sent him. And if we keep in our heart, in his instruction, and we should have faith 110%, not 100%. And our movement, people are going outside after coming ISKCON. Sometimes we feel so bad. No, ISKCON don't have anything. ISKCON have ABCD. ISKCON have everything. Prabhupada gave everything in his books, in his teachings. You can see 15 minutes His lecture you can see how Prabhupada, we are listening, whenever we listen Prabhupada's word and Prabhupada's voice, so transcendental. Yes, those who people have anarthas, those who have people who have completely garbage, no, full of garbage, that heart cannot attract. If someone can clean person, immediately recognize. This is the way, this material world. You cannot clean in muddy water. So you have to clean good water. So Prabhupada, like that. I forget to, I thought to speak something, and when I heard this lecture, all of, I forget to see the point. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Sri Krishna Maharaj, for creating such an environment for us where everyone's eager to come here and spend time in such a beautiful setting. And we'll have now Brajras Bhavana who will give a short offering. We'd like to hear from various generations. And he's actually about 80 years old. You can't tell. He practices yoga, so he looks young. That's him right there. Please welcome Brajras Bhavana. Hare Krishna. A little more, though. Yeah. He was born in a devotee family and has taken fully to the path of devotional service and is working in the world already, surpassed in academics, and is a good representative. We can see how Śrīla Prabhupāda's mercy is coming down through the various generations. No pressure. I'm just confident in you that you'll be yourself and shine forth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear Śrīla Prabhupāda, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. Namashrishtham manumapi sachiputra matra swarupam rupam tasyagrajam urupurim mathurim goshtavatim radha kundam girivaramaho radhika madhavasham prapto yasya patita kripaya shri gurum tam natosmi. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I've obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Sachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar through Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami through their various books, and the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, where we are currently residing, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava and Vrindavan. I'm grateful to you, Śrīla Prabhupāda, for the life that you have provided me. Especially on this yatra, I feel thankful for opening the Dham to me. Without your mercy, I wouldn't be able to appreciate Krishna and his devotees. I'm grateful to you for showing me the blissful nature of Krishna consciousness, which has grown a desire within my heart to serve Krishna and his devotees. And that attraction to service originates from your example. In Youth Jam, which is a youth community we have in the United States, we've been reading the Śrīla Prabhupāda Lilamrita. And by hearing your biography, I have a deeper sense of appreciation for you. Observing your early life has been helpful in my own life, as you have lived a lifetime in preparation. You went to university, you had a job, you had a family, and you also balanced your spiritual life with all that. You had to make many difficult decisions when it came to your personal and spiritual life, and all these stories have taught me how to practically have Krishna in the center. On your disappearance day, it is by your mercy that I can observe this with so many exalted devotees in this blissful abode of Vraj. Please shower your mercy on me that I may intensify my desire to serve your mission under the tutelage of my Guru Maharaj. Your servant, Brajaras Bhavanadas.
Thank you very much, Brajaras Bhavana, for getting up to speak, practically impromptu. So important to see the current of Prabhupada's teachings and mercy flowing through all generations. We find at our community in California, when Prabhupada's appearance day comes, we ask everybody in the whole community to get up and talk. It usually lasts a couple of weeks. And it's amazing to find the potency coming through all generations, down to little kids, 4 or 5 years old, who get up and have something to offer and are feeling grateful, as Brajaras Bhavana Prabhu is receiving what Prabhupada gave, even now, or especially now. Are there other Prabhupada Diksha disciples here? Who's here? Oh, Nanda, there you are. She's hiding as usual. Yes, please, Nanda Devi, please come up and give a talk. Please welcome her. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Wait, I'll do that. Save you the problem. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. My respectful obeisances unto my eternally beloved dear Śrīla Prabhupāda, who is eternally my master, and I beg for service at his lotus feet lifetime after lifetime, because for some of us it might take a little while to imbibe everything. I would like to speak a little bit about something that we just read in our reading Vrat over Govardhan Kartik session. We were reading from Madhya Lila. And in the very last chapter, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, there's a, after Lord Chaitanya has converted all the residents, actually, hold on. He hasn't converted all the residents yet, just yet. So this is a recap of the story. So there's one Maharashtrian Brahmin who's very dissatisfied when he hears the residents of Varanasi criticize Lord Chaitanya. So he says, chapter 25, verse number 9, he says, he's thinking, if by some means I can assemble all the sannyasis together, they will certainly become his, Lord Chaitanya's devotees, after seeing his personal characteristics. So the reason that I'm quoting from this particular verse is because Śrīla Prabhupāda, in this very verse, although he's explaining the position of Lord Chaitanya, to me, when I read it, I was seeing how this is the position of Śrīla Prabhupāda. And you'll hear what I mean. This is Prabhupada's purport. If one saw the personal characteristics and activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one would certainly be convinced that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My editing of this is, if one would see the personal characteristics of Śrīla Prabhupāda, then one would certainly become his follower and see that he's the servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can ascertain this by following in the footsteps of the Shastric injunctions. This sincere study and appreciation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or in our case of Śrīla Prabhupāda, and constantly hearing and reading his books, especially Lilamrita, we'll see these characteristics very clearly. So there's a verse quoted in the 7th chapter of Anjalila. Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan Krishna Shakti Vina Nahitara Pravartana. In this age of Kali, real religious propaganda should induce people to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And this was Śrīla Prabhupāda's personification, that he was such a touchstone that, as been mentioned previously, even the most fallen people could get in his association somehow or other, and that was my position. Somehow or other, that mercy fell on my head. It wasn't something that I even was aspiring for or that I deserved, but thank you, Śrīla Prabhupāda, for dropping it on my head. Hare Krishna. So the translation to that verse is, in the Dwapara Yuga, devotees of Lord Vishnu and Krishna rendered devotional service according to the principles of the Pancharatra. In this age, Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is worshipped simply by the chanting of his holy names. Now there's a very nice excerpt of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Srila Prabhupada's now quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And it's very obvious that he's quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Without being empowered by the direct potency of Lord Krishna to fulfill his desire, and without being specifically favored by the Lord, no human being can become the spiritual master of the whole world. He certainly cannot succeed by mental concoction, which is not meant for the devotees or religious people. So what did Śrīla Prabhupada call his first major, his second one? Bhagavad Gita as it is. No mental concoction there. Just he's repeating what he's heard from his spiritual master. Only an empowered personality can distribute the holy name of the Lord and enjoin all fallen souls to worship Krishna. By distributing the holy name of the Lord, he cleanses the heart of the most fallen people, and therefore he distinguishes the blazing fire in this material world. Not only that, he broadcasts the shining brightness of Krishna's effulgence throughout the world. Such an acharya or spiritual master should be considered non-different from Krishna. But Prabhupada very quickly, or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is making that. He should be considered the incarnation of Lord Krishna's potency. Such a personality is Krishna Lingita Vigraha. That is, he is always embraced. Thank you. Somebody's memorized that. It struck them. He's always embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Lingita Vigraha. That's how Srila Prabhupada was able to spread the holy name and the Krishna consciousness movement all around the world. He is the guru, or the spiritual master, for the entire world. A devotee on the topmost platform, the Mahabhagavat stage, and a Paramahamsa Thakur, a spiritual form only fit to be addressed as Paramahamsa or Thakur. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. So I have a little more to say, even though you'd like me to be finished. But Satyananda Maharaj was speaking about how he was present when Śrīla Prabhupada went to inspect the temple in Germany, which reminded me of the time that Śrīla Prabhupada, in 1975, Śrīla Prabhupada came to Mexico. It was his second time to Mexico, but it was his first time to this particular building that the temple is still presently in. And so, as one would expect, even now, like a big festival day, there's extra people. So what does extra people mean? Extra work, extra service, extra boga, extra flowers for extra garlands, extra everything. I happened to have the service of being in charge of the deities. And at the same time, I was in charge of the kitchen. So there was extra service, and Prabhupada was there. And so one of the things is flower garlands. So we had all these nice buckets of flower garlands. And anybody of you who have had experience making flower garlands most likely still do the same thing. Pick the flower top off the stem and leave the stem and maybe one or two scraggly flowers in the bucket, in the thing. And so you've got buckets of picked over flowers. So that's what the kitchen looked like, okay? And the kitchen had doors similar to these doors. We used to call them French doors. The two doors together, they open out like that. So we got the message. Prabhupada's coming in 5 minutes to examine the temple. Please make sure your area is clean. 5 minutes. Buckets all over the place. What am I going to do? So I, unlike Maharaj, who decides to be sincere and come up from underneath the desk, I decide maybe I can hide the buckets behind the doors. And so when Prabhupada comes in the room, he'll look straight forward and he'll see that it's relatively organized. And you're right. Prabhupada comes in the door and immediately turns around. So you can't fool Prabhupada. So we need to be, as Maharaj was saying, we need to be introspective. We need to be honest and look for the anarthas and the dust in the corner of our hearts. Anyway, at that particular time, some of the dust and anartha in my heart was quite blatantly exposed. And Śrīla Prabhupada's reaction when he turned around and looked at those buckets, he said, "Who has done this?" And the brahmacharis, as much as I love you like mother, they were very happy to say, "Oh, the pujaris have done this. Oh, the pujaris have done this." And Śrīla Prabhupada took his cane. Are you sitting down? He said, "These pujaris should be replaced." It was so heavy. It was so heavy. But what would your reaction be if you were totally dull-headed? You would think, "Oh, there's nobody to replace me. I'm okay. I'm just exposing myself now, hundreds of years later." So anyway, that was one incident. And then another incident when Śrīla Prabhupada he had many darshans, but there was one darshan that I attended when Śrīla Prabhupada was scheduled to speak with the Cardinal of Mexico. The Roman Catholic Cardinal of Mexico was scheduled to come. But apparently he didn't have enough bhakti punya in him, or enough pious credits to take advantage of the invitation. So he just sent two little representatives. He didn't even send other cardinals. He just sent some priests, which they were very nice, but they weren't very well informed. Thank you. They weren't very well informed about the movement or Śrīla Prabhupada or the philosophy or anything. So Prabhupada, his approach was totally neutral. The very first thing Prabhupada did was have somebody read a letter from the library party in the United States. We had gone to Iowa University and distributed 3 sets of standing orders. We went to Milwaukee and did, so how could they relate to that? So they just sat there. And then there was another girl there, Lakshmi Priya was her name. She was a Mexican-bodied devotee, but she lived in Los Angeles. So Prabhupada signaled her out. He called her out and said, "Please tell us about Los Angeles." Now why? Because Los Angeles had been a church, and the attendance had gone down so much that they were forced to sell the building. The devotees bought the building and the attendance went up with those same American boys and girls. Anyway, so she described the Los Angeles situation. And so I'm in the back of the room and I'm thinking, this is a little boring. I thought I was expecting something more exciting. And so then Śrīla Prabhupada started to speak, and it was a very, very basic thing. And if you're familiar with what Śrīla Prabhupada, how he would interact with Christians very often, he would immediately go to the 10 Commandments. And he would immediately go to the first one, "Thou shalt not kill. Therefore, why are you killing?" But this time he approached it, because he was in Mexico, he approached it a little different way. He said, "Therefore, this bullfighting is very sinful, and you should stop this bullfighting right away." again, I'm in the back of the room. I'm thinking, wow, I didn't even know they had bullfighting in Mexico. I had been there a year and a half. Prabhupada had been there 3 days, and he already had the correct information. And and he went on with a little bit more, but the men started to get a little fidgety, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we need to go now. We have another engagement." And Prabhupada said, "No problem." And so he arranged for somebody that was sitting near him to make sure they got prasadam. So the three of them went out. There was 2 representatives, 2 priests, and the devotee. They went out of the room. And my impression was, you know, when you open the door, you step out the room, and then with your other hand, you close the door. So my impression was they still must have had their hand on the doorknob, but now they were outside the door. And as soon as that door clicked shut, Prabhupada began to chuckle. And everything got very blissful. He said, these were not true Christians. Because as soon as I said they had to stop the bullfighting, they had to go. They couldn't even hear anymore. And then Prabhupada proceeded to say how much we appreciate Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was our guru. He was teaching about God. He was a pure devotee. He was a pure devotee, and therefore we honor him and worship him. So at the end of the lecture, at the end of that talk, one of the devotees asked the question, Śrīla Prabhupāda, you said that we accept Jesus Christ as our guru. Does that mean we should put a picture of him on the altar? Very quick to misunderstand things. And Prabhupada said, I have not said that. And, but I had a question in my mind. Oh, at one point, Prabhupada also said, Jesus Christ was a pure devotee, but he could not save his followers because his followers were so degraded. So then the question arose in my mind. I had been in the movement probably 3 years, so my question arose in my mind. Well, if Jesus Christ is a pure devotee, and Śrīla Prabhupāda's a pure devotee, and we're so much more fallen than they were 2,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago, how is it that Jesus Christ couldn't save his followers? So my friend was sitting right next to me, and she asked that question, Śrīla Prabhupada, why couldn't Jesus Christ save his followers? And Prabhupada said, because they were 10th class rascals. And I said, and I'm still thinking they're on the same level. You know, that's my misconception. I'm still thinking they're on the same. So I asked another question, which was the exact same question with the exact same words. But Śrīla Prabhupada, how come Jesus Christ couldn't save his followers? And so Śrīla Prabhupada when the devotee got up to help the guests get prasadam, there was a little space right at the corner of Prabhupada's desk. So I got to come. So Hridayananda Maharaj, the GVC, turned around, and my friend Sita and I came up to the corner of Prabhupada's desk. So then we're sitting right near Prabhupada's desk, just like that harmonium that is sitting near that table. So that's how more or less close we were. And so when I asked that second exact same question, Prabhupada leaned over. Just like you were going to tell a 2-year-old that 2 + 2 = 4. Very simple math. They should understand it, but it's beyond their capacity for a 2-year-old, right? So that's the way the look that Prabhupada gave me. And he said, if someone's a murderer, he's not a very good man, is he? No, Śrīla Prabhupada. And then he leaned in a little more, he said, they were murderers. So then, fortunately, there were more enlightened devotees in the room, which we're always fortunate to have the association of devotees. And they said, Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada, you are so great. You're saving us, even though we were more fallen. You are so great. You're saving the whole world. Prabhupada said, no, I am not great. It is this Hare Krishna mantra that is great. So similar, the same theme. Prabhupada never put himself in the middle. He always wanted to glorify Krishna. No, I am not great. It is this Hare Krishna mantra that is great. So then, Shrutikirti Prabhu, he was there, and he said, Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada, you are so great and wonderful. You're saving the whole world because you have brought us this Hare Krishna mantra. And then, so then because we were so close, I could see Srila Prabhupada's cheeks very clearly, and they got red with embarrassment. And he said, "Oh, that may be so." That's the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, always wanting to put Krishna in the center, and having to deal with people of low births, dirty hearts, and still being that touchstone that can change the dirty hearts and the dirty consciousness of hundreds and thousands of millions of trillions of unlimited living entities, because he is that touchstone of purity. And if there's a pile of rocks here, how are you going to know which one is the touchstone? The only way you're going to know which one is the touchstone is if it touches something and turns the stand into gold. And you think, "Oh, Haribol," right? So then you know, okay, this one's the touchstone. But even that example of Prabhupada being like the touchstone isn't adequate enough, because that touchstone can only turn one thing into gold. And that thing that got turned into gold can't turn something else into gold. Only the touchstone can. But Srila Prabhupada has touched many of your hearts and enabled you to be imbibed with the potency that's coming directly from the Lord through Srila Prabhupada, and therefore you are turning many others and inspiring many others to take to Krishna consciousness, and I offer my respectful obeisances to you also. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
For those who don't know Nanda Devi Dasi, she never stops hearing and chanting, ever, and has apparently done so for a whole lifetime. Thank you for being such an example of a follower of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And now I call my better half, Nirakula Devi Dasi.
Well done. I think so. Maybe a little bit down. Yeah, good. Sorry. Hare Krishna. I wish I could say something about, a little something about everything that all of the devotees who have spoken so far have said, because something all of them said really resonated with me about cleaning the dust from our hearts, being transparent, and not trying to hide things in our spiritual lives. And like a Sikh Krishna Maharaj said, I had these things to talk about, and now, because I've heard so many wonderful things, I'm a little bit jumbled. Plus, it's such an emotional day that I have to try to override some of that in a bit. So, as C. Krishna Maharaj brought out, Prabhupada saved us. He made the unfortunate fortunate. And that is the real situation for me. I didn't have a higher education. I didn't come from a very good family. I was a hippie teenager who had left home at the age of 16, searching, and somehow or other, I got the causeless mercy of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yogis search for lifetimes, and somehow or other, I got Śrīla Prabhupāda. And the other thing that Sri Krishna Maharaj said that I've been thinking about a lot lately is some of the devotees who say Śrīla Prabhupāda only gave us the ABCs. it hurts my heart. I was here for 3 weeks. We read the Madhya Lila, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. And if anyone has read that or read the purports that Śrīla Prabhupāda wrote, they could never, ever say such an offensive thing. Prabhupada gave us everything. And it's up to us to purify our hearts so that we can understand it. When you read the pastimes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj speaks about, according to the level of the devotees who participated in the pastimes, they could understand or they could see. So it's, Prabhupada said, and I believe that, and I now believe it even more firmly. I have given you everything. Everything is in my books. If we have faith in that, and we read Śrīla Prabhupāda's books, and we read them together, that's the other nice thing about being here during those readings. We discuss, we ask questions, we unpack, and it's so helpful for me as an individual, pretty dull-headed, to hear the realizations and the questions that the others bring up. It's absolutely wonderful. If you have facility in your communities to start reading groups, if you don't already have them, I fully support that, because it really helps us to come close to Prabhupada, to understand Śrīla Prabhupada and what he has done for us by taking the time. He didn't sleep much. He traveled the world, and still he gave us these purports, translated these books, managed a movement, a fledgling movement of teenagers and 20-something-year-old who had come with no Vedic training, no training at all, pretty much. As we heard about the apple or the date, we didn't have the basic training, but everything I have, everything I am, is Śrīla Prabhupāda's mercy. And I know that many or all of you feel that same way. My whole life, Śrīla Prabhupāda gave me. So I'm grateful. I have so much gratitude, and I'm working to have even more gratitude, because it's unfathomable what Śrīla Prabhupāda has given me. When I was young, I was raised Catholic, and you go through sacraments and you have to study to be able to become qualified for the sacraments. And in one of the first catechisms, I remember the question is, why did God make me? Why did God make us? And the answer was, God made me to know, love, and serve him. But I was, even a child, but as I got older, a young teenager, I tried to understand more about a personal God, and how could I know this personal God and get to love him and serve him. And I didn't get the answers. But when I was introduced to Krishna consciousness through Śrīla Prabhupāda's books and through the many wonderful devotees that he had made, I could understand. I can learn how to know Krishna, love him, and serve him eternally. And that really satisfied the void in my life. So on this day, I pray with all of your blessings, if you would be so kind, that I could become an eternal servant of my Guru Maharaj, my Guru Dev, be able to serve him with my whole heart as he served his Guru. Develop the love of the holy name and the faith in the holy name that brought Śrīla Prabhupāda here and made him so successful. Because I want to please him, and I want to serve him the best capacity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Nirakula, for holding forth. It's so helpful to hear testimonials from everyone about how they came to Krishna consciousness and what it's meant to them. And it, again, it highlights the way that Prabhupada's mercy is ubiquitous, and also it's what the Srimad Bhagavatam mentions. It's for everyone, from all classes. And since I'm already talking, and a Vaishnav here, who said not to mention his name, said, you have to speak, I'm going to change my chair from here to there, and then, by Prabhupada's mercy, try to glorify him. Hare Krishna. Well, since my wife brought up the topic of reading Prabhupada's books, I thought I'd continue with a few thoughts I had. First, I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to all the assembled devotees. Vansha kalpa drubhascha, kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. About the Chaitanya Charitamrita especially, it was a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, we read the Adi Leela. It always looks impenetrable because it's so large, and if you skim through it, you find one or two purports that seem highly technical. And Burijan Prabhu once told me that when he was trying to write and people would come over to visit him, the way he'd get rid of them and say, hey, let's read some Adi Leela. And most people would immediately decamp. And we read it recently. I can't remember which year. If somebody else can, please remind me. A few years ago. Yeah, he knows everything. He's been there. He sits through every reading and completely focused. When was it? 2022, when we first got back here, right? So I was amazed after we finished the Adi Leela. I thought, well, here's why I thought it. What I'm about to say is circa 1975 in Atlanta, 76, there was a sale on Adi Leelas because there was a mismatch in far as the sets go, and they had the BBT had a large quantity of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, so they have a huge discount for them. And the temple president, Balavanta, had filled up his warehouse with Adi Leela Volume 1. And we were distributing them at the airport. And many of the people there, because there was a military buildup at that time for the Vietnam War, which was winding down, but still they were recruiting a lot of people. We were distributing these Adi Leela Volume 1s to simple young men, came from rural backgrounds, and we always wondered about what might have happened once they went away. We didn't necessarily have a follow-up program for them. And I always thought that perhaps it had fallen on barren soil. And when we read it, we took the time to meticulously go through, read it, every purport, every word in the book. When I came to the end, I thought, this is accessible. Somebody could read this and get the full idea of Krishna consciousness. And another devotee had pointed out to me once, I think it was Radhika Raman Prabhu, who said, regarding Prabhupada's repetition of certain principles, he said he wanted to make sure that anyone who read anywhere got as complete a picture as possible of what the purpose of Krishna consciousness is and how to attain it. And recently, we just finished reading the Madhya Lila, which was quite a marathon. And I didn't hear anybody complaining as we read through the day from morning till it got dark, which was what it required to finish the whole Madhya Lila. And by the way, we figured out a new way to calibrate our reading, which was the very smart devotees in our group used AI to figure out how many words a day we were reading. Previously, we do by pages. In fact, I made an app called Be a Sage Page by Page. Okay, one person hasn't. But that sometimes, one page is more dense than others. But this time we had gone by how many words we read every day. And as we continued to read our quota every day, I was reading from a book. And it's a set of Chaitanya Charitamritas that has been here for a while. And we read it once before, many years ago, and I'd put little flags in it, those little sticky flags that you can get at Office Depot or whatever place you frequent for your office supplies. And I noticed that I resonated with every place I put a flag the last time and thought, what an excellent point. And there were about 40, 50 devotees that came to listen. The program has expanded over time. When I first started coming here, we'd sit up on the roof. There's a little patio up there that fits about 5, 6 people, right outside. The king used to own this, or as Marg used to say, a small-time king owned this place. And we'd sit out there till we got pushed out by mosquitoes. And then over the years, as we've continued to read, more and more devotees have come to listen. So the experience has been reading through an entire section that we get a more complete view of Śrīla Prabhupāda and the way he taught Krishna consciousness. And the way I've thought of it is, it's like a hologram where you see the person manifest right before you. Perhaps they have them at Disneyland or something like that, where it's a phantom, but it's created by computer image and light, and then the person's actually there. And we found that by reading through and just listening to Prabhupada's purports, that he personally manifests there in the room or wherever one is. And another thought about association with Prabhupada is that no one can have more intimate association with a person who's an author outside of reading his or her books, because people are hard to get to, especially famous people. How close can you be to somebody? You maybe have 5 seconds or a few minutes, or you might have a incidental meeting. But if someone, an author, puts his or her intimate thoughts into a book, you can go sit somewhere, anywhere in the world and read it, and you're getting the best of that person. And that's exactly what Prabhupada said. He indicated several times that everything I had to say I put in my books. And he also said in an interview that I refreshed my memory about this morning that an reporter asked him, who will succeed you? And Prabhupada didn't go into any detail on that except to say that when the person said, when you die, and Prabhupada said, I'll never die. And then he followed that by saying, because I will live forever in my books. And they will utilize. And I thought about that statement, they will utilize. And there are lots of different opinions because every jiva has a unique way of looking at the world. And there are also, based on that, conflicts. And there are also different moods that people have. And an organization has to have a foundational understanding of the mood and method of the Acharya. And Prabhupada's books and his purports are the sound vibration, the primal sound vibration of ISKCON, that is through which one may imbibe that exact mood that Prabhupada had. And also he clearly states his mission there. At the end of the Madhya Lila, we came to a purport that's about 2 pages. And in it, Prabhupada's leaning in to the very generous understanding of our acharyas in general, which is that this goes out to everyone. And many of the purports that Prabhupada has written are to clarify the fact that this is not a hereditary movement. In other words, the Krishna consciousness is not hereditary, because there is a general tendency for people, once they're involved in a communion with God one way or another, then those who have been there can consolidate power and then say it's for us, and nobody else can present it. Whereas the Bhagavatam, as we know famously, Shukadev Goswami says, Kirato hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhirashumba yavana kasadaya yene chapapa yadapashra yashraya shudyanti tasmai pravivishnave namaha. And anybody from anywhere can take advantage of this because of its power. And so how will we utilize Prabhupada's books? By taking time to read them. And when I met Prabhupada in San Francisco, circa 1973, as a wide-eyed kid, just having joined the movement and being part of a book distribution team, when our temple president read our book scores, Prabhupada just said to us, you must also read my books. I have not written them just for selling. I've written them for you to read, become pure devotees, and go back to Godhead. So that sounds like a good idea, right? So I'm advocating for it. We may have Prabhupada's books, just like a lot of people have Bhagavad Gita, where they say, oh yeah, I already know Bhagavad Gita. It's like, yeah, tell me something. It's like, well, I mean, my mom read it. But another thought has been that Prabhupada's devotional service Herculean in the way that he had established a movement all over the world. And famously, he had stayed up all night, as someone mentioned earlier. He didn't sleep for the sake of writing his purports. I thought, who can do that? And how motivated was Prabhupada to do that? It's hard to publish a book. It's hard to publish a pamphlet and get it right. And Prabhupada had brought out the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, in 9 months or so, he had written the whole thing, and then he wanted it published in 2 months. So I've thought several times as a means of motivation that, although I can't do that, what if I tried to put in that much effort reading his books as he put in to write them. That we could try for anyway, right? Say yes. And my theory is that by following up on what my wife said, that the more we organize opportunities for everyone to read Prabhupada's books more thoroughly, the more questions are answered, and the more we imbibe Prabhupada's mood. It's inescapable, and we don't wonder about it. We know directly Prabhupada has manifested himself as a spiritual hologram right in front of us and spoken to us directly and as intimately as possible, because that's the nature of books. They're miraculous. And I'll just make one last point, which is that Śrīla Prabhupada also wanted us to write. He wrote his books based on the tradition of all the acharyas. And we're a sampradaya of the book. All the acharyas generally have written and left some literary contribution behind. Sometimes people feel reticent about writing because they say, well, Prabhupada wrote everything, so we shouldn't write anything. But you could look at it a different way, and that is that if we don't write, how can we prove what we got from Prabhupada? And Prabhupada, at one time, Prabhupada criticized his colleagues from the other institution he was part of for some time and asked, where are their books? As Prabhupada was producing more and more books, he asked, where are their books? And maybe it's not well known, but Prabhupada advocated, strenuously advocated, that all of his followers should write. Did you know that? Okay, then I'll just read you a quote and let Prabhupada speak for himself. Are you up for this? Yes. Okay, there's a few here. I took out a few out of many more, just to give a taste. Formerly, all activities were performed in connection with Vishnu, but after Satya Yuga, there were symptoms of disrespectful dealings among Vaishnavas. Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Thakur has said that a Vaishnava is he who has helped others become Vaishnavas. An example of one who has converted many others into Vaishnavas is Narada Muni. A powerful Vaishnava who has converted others into Vaishnavas is to be worshipped. But because of material contamination, sometimes an exalted Vaishnava is disrespected by other minor Vaishnavas. When great saintly persons saw this contamination, they introduced worship of the deity in the temple. This began in Treta Yuga and was especially predominant in Dwapara Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, worship of the deity is being neglected. Therefore, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is more powerful than deity worship. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set a practical example in that he did not establish any temples or deities, but he profusely introduced the Sankirtan movement. Therefore, Krishna consciousness preachers should give more stress to the Sankirtan movement, especially by distributing transcendental literature more and more. This helps the Sankirtan movement. Whenever there is a possibility to worship the deity, we may establish many centers, but generally we should give more stress to the distribution of transcendental literature, for this will be more effective in converting people to Krishna consciousness. Okay, that's the preface. And now it gets to some specific about writing. It is certainly not good to write literature for money or reputation, but to write books and publish them for the enlightenment of the general populace is real service to the Lord. That was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's opinion, and he specifically told his disciples to write books. He actually preferred to publish books rather than establish temples. Temple construction is meant for the general populace and neophyte devotees. But the business of advanced and empowered devotees is to write books, publish them, and distribute them widely. According to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, distributing literature is like playing on a great mridanga. Consequently, we always request members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to publish as many books as possible and distribute them widely throughout the world. But that just means Prabhupada's books, right? Well, let's see if he said anything more specific. I want you to write as my disciples. On this point, Krishna consciousness is not limited. Persons like all the Goswamis wrote so many books. Vishwanath Chakravarti and all the Acharyas wrote books, and still I am writing books. Similarly, all my disciples will write. And finally, everything is there in our books, so learn it and put it in your own way by reproducing. You are also materially well educated, so reproduce what I have taught in your own language. These things are new thoughts. In your Western countries, everyone will be interested. Writing is also required. Let it be published first in our BTG, then sometimes they may be printed into books also. And there's a way in which, now I'll end there. There's a lot more to say. Just with thought of one of my godbrothers with whom I'm close, who taught me something invaluable a while back, which was when he wakes up in the morning, when he puts his feet on the floor, the first thing he says is, "Thank you, Śrīla Prabhupāda." And since I started doing that myself, the first thing I think of when I wake up, when I say thank you, Śrīla Prabhupāda, is a remembrance of the unlimited assets we have, that I have received, and an inspiration to try to take advantage of them. So as Tirobhav is a time for renewal of one's vows and to develop enthusiasm, I pray to Śrīla Prabhupāda on this day that I may remain ever thankful for what he's given me, and may I have the wherewithal to take full advantage of everything he's given. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. We could extend this for another week or two. It would be edifying to hear everybody speak, and to those whom I was not able to call on today, I deeply apologize. When I was once serving prasadam, I was serving a sabji with curd, and all the devotees wanted the curd and no sabji, and I couldn't supply it because we would have run out. And so I was with Radha Jivan Prabhu at the time in Calcutta. He advised me from then on to serve rice instead of... So I apologize for missing anybody who was eager to speak today, but that's a good thing about spiritual conversations, is there's always more to say, and we'll continue saying it wherever we go. So now Maharaj would like to have some kirtan, and then just after some kirtan we're going to have the Pushpanjali ceremony right up here in the front, and then there will be prasadam for everybody. Yeah, there's Artik, the Pushpanjali, then we're going to sing the Guru Puja, and then there'll be prasadam for everybody in Uttar Pradesh. Hare Krishna. Dear Śrīla Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Gauranitai, dear Śrīla Prabhupada, if you so desire, please let us give our hearts and souls to your instructions and try to follow in your footsteps by giving them to as many other people as possible. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpadrusha Kripasindhaveva Chapatitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Nantakoti Vaishnavini Ki Jai.
Maharaj, good. Everyone will stand up. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki.
Everyone can move forward and we'll distribute the roses, rose petals. Just keep enough for 3 offerings. And please repeat. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Umnilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttar Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Varshavana Videvi Daitai Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jwala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtai Dinatarine Rupanuga Viradhapa Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Surupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virvava Bhaumestvam Nirdesa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu pya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahavaranyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Bhatirgati Vatsarvaswa Padambo Jao Radha Maranamohanao Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastao Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Preshtalibhi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasadampi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venur Swaner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Samsara Davam Nadalita Loka Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam Arunya Ghana Gadadha Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnav. That's good. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtanandritya Gita Varitramajan Manasorasena Romanchakampa Shutaranga Bajo Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam 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 Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shringaratan Mandira Marjanada Yuktasya Bhaktam Chaniyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Swadana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangan. Kritvaiva Tripting Bhajata Sadaiva. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. 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 Shri Radhika Madhava Yaurapada Mathura Lila Guna Rupa Nam Nam. Pratikshadasvadana lolupasya. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. 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 Nikunjayuno Ratikele Siddhai Yayali Biryut Tirapekshaniya. Tatrati Daksha Dati Ballabhasya. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. 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 Sakshat Darita Masta Shastre Ruktasthata bhavyateva sadvi. Kintu praboya priya eva tasya Vande Guru Shri Sharanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadam nagati kutopi. Jayam stuvam stasya yashastri sandhyam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama now Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more. Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Harinam Mantra ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki, Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravaraja Gacharya Ashtata Satasi Simadhisti Vaingre Sila Abe Charanaravinda Shila Bhaktis Vedant Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Anand Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Nama Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. His Holiness Sri Krishna Maharaj is inviting everyone to prasadam downstairs. Niche Jangai. Hare Krishna.
प्रभुजी कब खुले है 4 बजे आपण येऊन आपल्या इथे